Welcome to this explainer. We're jumping right into a massive shift happening in the financial sector today. Look, there's a literal arms race going on right now between financial institutions and criminals. We are finally moving away from sluggish, old-school castle and moat systems and transitioning into relentless, fast-moving, AI-powered intelligence networks. So let's dive right in.
Here's the roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. The reactive reality. 2. Connecting the weak signals. 3. AI across the lifecycle. 4. Why AI transformation fails. 5. The resilient control stack. And finally, 6. Leading the AI transition. All right, let's get started.
Section 1. The reactive reality. We need to take a hard look at the current state of financial controls and why, fundamentally, they are just so reactive.
It's a stark contrast when you compare the two sides. Legacy controls, they're sequential. Honestly, it's like a really slow assembly line. A customer gets checked at onboarding, their transactions bump up against predefined rules, and then alerts just kind of drop into a queue for human review. Sure, it's auditable, but it is incredibly slow. Now, the criminals, they operate continuously. They're already using AI to accelerate their attacks, literally pivoting their identities or payment routes the exact second they hit friction. It's this massive mismatch in speed. Institutions sometimes need weeks or even months to translate a newly observed threat into a control that actually works.
Section 2, connecting the weak signals. And this speed asymmetry brings us to a major flaw in how traditional teams operate.
See, the big strategic problem isn't that we don't have data or that we lack controls. It's the delay and the fragmentation between them. Imagine this. A stolen credential pops up first as a cyber indicator, right? Then, a weird login happens which gets caught by an identity system or a fraud model. Maybe days later, a new beneficiary creation triggers an anti-money laundering alert. Unless you're integrating these events, you're only seeing a bunch of weak, isolated signals. Because every team operates strictly in its own silo, they completely miss the bigger picture. They miss the one coherent attack that's actually unfolding right under their noses.
This is where an integrated risk architecture comes in. And to be clear, true AI transformation isn't just buying a shiny new machine learning tool and slapping it onto an old system. It means rewiring the whole data ecosystem. We're talking about connecting customer info, transactions, devices, and outside intelligence to assess risk holistically across the entire network.
Because the objective isn't to create some all-knowing sci-fi supercomputer model, right? We're not trying to replace accountable human investigators with autonomous robots. It's really about ensuring that every single control contributes intelligence back into the wider system. Confirmed fraud, false positives, external intel, all of it should dynamically make the next detection that much smarter.
Section 3, AI across the lifecycle. Let's look at how this practically builds up defenses across the actual customer journey. Across the lifecycle, AI strengthens defenses by combining things. Take step 1, onboarding. A brand new ID document isn't inherently suspicious by itself, but if AI combines that with network links showing the exact same device just opened several unrelated accounts, well, that completely changes the risk profile. Then in step 2, account access, behavioral models can evaluate typing patterns, navigation speed, and session velocity to catch automated bots or account takeovers in real time. And finally, step 3, transactions. Instead of relying on single payment rules, AI uses graph analytics to evaluate entire sequences. This exposes the hidden underlying structures of complex mule networks, rather than just reacting to their most visible transactions.
And global authorities are definitely on board with this. Groups like the FATF and the Bank for International Settlements explicitly highlight how advanced AI copilots can drastically reduce those incredibly frustrating false positives, all while supporting human intelligence, assuming, of course, that these collaborative analytics respect strict data privacy frameworks.
Section 4. Why AI transformation fails. Okay, as much as we love the potential here, we absolutely have to balance this enthusiasm with a hefty dose of caution. Because AI adoption is moving at breakneck speed. A 2024 survey from the Bank of England and the FCA found that a massive 75% of responding financial firms are already using AI. But here's the wild part. Almost half of them, 46% to be exact, reported having only a partial understanding of the technologies they've actually deployed. Operational adoption is completely outpacing institutional understanding. And this lack of understanding directly fuels 6 critical failure modes. First off, poor data. If your records are incomplete or joined incorrectly, your model's learning is capped right out of the gate. Second is automation bias. This one's super dangerous. It's when humans blindly trust opaque model conclusions just because challenging the machine is too much extra work. Third, model drift.
Accuracy naturally degrades over time as criminals inevitably change their tactics. Fourth, bias, which can amplify historically uneven detection practices. Fifth, adversarial manipulation, where criminals literally trick the models, sometimes using prompt injection to bypass controls. And finally, third-party dependency. You really don't want to rely heavily on external black box infrastructure that your firm doesn't fully understand or control.
Section 5. The resilient control stack. So, how do institutions actually protect themselves while adopting these necessary technologies?
The answer is building a resilient control stack made up of 6 key layers. You start with clear use case accountability, meaning you know exactly what decisions the system is allowed to recommend or execute. Then you need governed data lineage to track exactly where your information came from. Third is risk-proportionate validation, to rigorously test for methodology and AI hallucinations. Next is meaningful human oversight. A reviewer needs the actual time, expertise, and evidence to challenge a system output, not just a rubber stamp approval button. Wrap all of that in continuous monitoring for model drift and operational resilience so you have solid fallbacks if a vendor goes down or data gets corrupted.
Within this safe stack, think of generative AI strictly as a controlled copilot. It's fantastic and highly defensible for summarizing complex customer files, translating network activity, and drafting those initial narratives. But the line between assistance and authority is absolute. High-impact decisions, like freezing funds, exiting a customer, or submitting regulatory reports, those must, without question, remain in the hands of accountable human beings.
Section 6. Leading the AI transition. Let's talk about the practical realities for the leaders actually spearheading this shift. If you're leading the charge, please don't just issue a vague, trendy mandate to simply use AI. Your implementation has to start with clearly defined financial crime outcomes. Prove the new approach actually catches priority threats in controlled shadow environments first before you roll anything out widely.
As frameworks like the Wolfsburg Group point out, rewiring a program with AI isn't really a procurement exercise. You're not just buying a tool, you are fundamentally redesigning how the institution learns. Success is not about perfectly reproducing your old legacy alerts. A truly successful model drops the low-value noise while catching the legitimate, complex risks that your old system completely missed.
Ultimately, the strongest defenses won't belong to the firms that just automate the most decisions. The real winners will achieve what's called disciplined adaptation. That means turning reliable signals into action, learning continuously, and adapting your defenses much, much faster than criminal networks can pivot.
I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on regarding your own institution's readiness. Are you truly connecting risk across the entire customer lifecycle, or are you just reacting to isolated alert volumes? Because I promise you, criminal organizations are already learning from every single failed attempt. The real question is your program capable of doing the same thing without sacrificing explainability or accountability? Thanks for joining me for this explainer. I hope this gave you a solid, actionable framework for rethinking financial crime defense.